Imagine this. It is the morning your Social Security check normally arrives. You pour your coffee, you sit at the kitchen table, you open your bank account, and the number is wrong, not just a little wrong. Half of your Social Security check is missing. Maybe your normal payment is $1,800, but only $900 came in. You refresh the screen, you check again, you call the bank, and then you remember the letter, a letter from Social Security that said you were overpaid. Maybe you thought, this must be a mistake. Maybe you thought, they caused this, not me. Maybe you put the letter aside because it was confusing, but now the money you use for rent, groceries, medicine, and utilities has been cut. And the scariest part is this. Under current SSA policy, if you receive an overpayment notice and do not act in time, Social Security says it can automatically withhold or 50% of your monthly benefit until the overpayment is repaid. I am Jocelyn. I help retirees, seniors, and families understand Social Security rules before those rules turn into financial emergencies. And today, I want you to stay calm. This video is not here to scare you. It is here to protect you. Because if you receive an overpayment letter from Social Security, you may have rights. You may be able to appeal. You may be able to request a waiver. You may be able to ask for a lower repayment rate. And if you act quickly, SSA says collection may pause while your request is being reviewed. But here's the danger. Many seniors make one hidden mistake. They confuse an appeal with a waiver, or they wait too long because they believe, if Social Security made the mistake, I do not have to respond. That mistake can cost you your monthly check. So stay with me until the end, because I am going to give you 3 clear steps to take before withholding starts. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert is fictional, but his situation is based on a very real problem many seniors face. Robert is 67 years old. He worked for more than 40 years. He paid into Social Security with every paycheck. He is not rich. He is not trying to cheat the system. He lives carefully. His Social Security check pays for his apartment, his prescriptions, his electric bill, and his groceries. One afternoon, Robert opens his mailbox and sees a letter from the Social Security Administration. The letter says he was overpaid. It lists an amount he does not understand. Robert reads it 3 times. He says, "How could I be overpaid? I did not ask for extra money." He gets frustrated. He puts the letter on the kitchen counter. Then life happens. A doctor's appointment, a family issue, a bill that needs to be paid. 2 weeks go by, then 3. Robert thinks, I will call them when I have time. But he does not file an appeal. He does not request a waiver. He does not ask for a lower repayment rate. He does nothing because he assumes Social Security will fix it if it is their mistake. Then his next check arrives. It is much smaller. Now Robert is panicking. He calls Social Security and says, "Why did you cut my payment?" And the answer is painful. Because he received an overpayment notice. Because SSA waited the required time. Because no appeal, waiver, repayment, or reduced rate request was submitted in time. Robert fell into what I call the Robert trap. The trap is not the overpayment letter itself. The trap is ignoring the letter because you think the mistake is obvious. With Social Security, silence can be expensive. Now let's break this down using the official facts. No rumors, no internet panic, just what the official sources say. According to the Social Security Administration, an overpayment happens when Social Security pays you more money than you should have received. This can happen for different reasons. It may involve missing or incorrect information. For example, SSA says overpayments can happen because of changes in your ability to work, where you live, your marital status, your income, or other personal circumstances. Now, this is important. If SSA sends you an overpayment notice, that notice should explain why SSA believes you were overpaid. It should also explain the amount SSA says you owe. So do not throw the letter away. Do not assume it is junk mail. Do not assume it is automatically wrong, and do not assume it will go away. That letter is the starting point of the clock. SSA says it will wait at least 30 days after sending the overpayment notice before it starts collecting the money. And here is the part that affects your check. If you do not pay the money back and you do not act within the stated time, SSA says it will automatically withhold 50% of your monthly Social Security benefit until the overpayment is repaid. Now listen carefully. This 50% figure applies to Social Security benefits under SSA's current overpayment page. But SSI is different. For SSI payments, SSA lists a default recovery amount of 10% of the SSI payment. So if you receive SSI, do not assume the same exact 50% rule applies to you. AARP has also reported that SSA moved away from a planned 100% withholding policy and set a default 50% withholding rate for many Social Security overpayment collections. AARP says this 50% rate applies to many retirement survivor, family, and SSDI overpayments for notices after April 25. AARP also reports that many prior overpayments and SSI overpayments remain under a 10% cap. Now, I want to be very careful here. The title of this video says 2026 SSA Alert, but this is not being presented by SSA as a brand new special 2026 law. The verified issue is SSA's current overpayment recovery process, and the risk is very real. If you receive an overpayment notice and do not respond properly, your Social Security check could be reduced. Now let's talk about the biggest misconception. Many seniors think, if SSA made the mistake, I should not have to respond. That is dangerous. SSA says if you receive an overpayment letter, you generally need to pay the money back unless SSA grants a waiver or changes the repayment terms. So even if you believe SSA made the mistake, you still need to respond. You need to use the correct process. The next misconception is this. Many people think an appeal and a waiver are the same thing. They are not. An appeal is when you disagree with SSA. You are saying, I was not overpaid, or the amount is wrong. For that, SSA says you can file Form SSA 561 called Request for Reconsideration. A waiver is different. A waiver is when you are asking SSA not to collect the overpayment. SSA says you can request a waiver if you cannot afford repayment and you feel the error was not your fault or that repayment would be unfair. The official waiver form is SSA 632BK, Request for Waiver of Overpayment Recovery. Now, there is a third option many retirees do not know about. If you agree that you were overpaid and you are willing to pay it back, but you cannot afford the repayment amount SSA listed, you may request a lower recovery rate. SSA says you should file Form SSA 634 RES, Request for Change in Overpayment Recovery Rate. This matters because some people panic when they see the overpayment letter. They think, I either pay the whole thing or they take half my check. But SSA's own form guidance says there are official options. Appeal, waiver, lower repayment rate. Now here's the timing rule you must not miss. SSA says if you ask for a waiver or appeal within 30 days, it will not collect the money until it decides on your request. SSA's form guidance also says it will stop recovering the overpayment until it makes a decision on your request. That is why time matters. Do not wait until your check is already reduced. Do not wait until the end of the month. Do not leave the letter under a pile of papers. The first 30 days are critical. Now let's talk about what happens if you ignore it. If no repayment, appeal, waiver, or reduced rate request is made, SSA says it can automatically withhold benefits. For Social Security benefits, that can mean 50% of your monthly benefit. For SSI, SSA lists 10% of the SSI payment, and the withholding can continue every month until the overpayment is repaid. If you no longer receive benefits, SSA says the law allows other collection methods. That may include withholding your federal tax refund, withholding certain state payments, or garnishing wages. And SSA also says that if a beneficiary dies before the overpayment is fully repaid, SSA may seek repayment from someone who receives benefits based on that person's record. So this is not something to ignore. But again, I want you to hear me clearly. An overpayment notice is not the end of the road. It is a warning, and if you respond correctly, you may have options. Now let's make this simple. If you receive a Social Security overpayment notice, here are the 3 steps to take. Step 1, read the notice immediately and mark the date. Do not just look at the amount. Read why SSA says you were overpaid. Look for the date on the notice. Look for the repayment instructions. Look for appeal and waiver information. Then write the deadline on a calendar. I recommend writing it in 3 places: on your paper calendar, in your phone, and on the envelope itself. Because with SSA overpayment notices, timing can protect your check. Step 2, choose the correct protection. If you believe SSA is wrong, file an appeal. That means you believe you were not overpaid or the amount is incorrect. The form to know is SSA 561 Request for Reconsideration. If you believe the overpayment was not your fault and you cannot afford repayment, request a waiver. The form to know is SSA 632BK, Request for Waiver of Overpayment Recovery. If you agree you owe the money but cannot afford the rate SSA wants, request a lower repayment rate. The form to know is SSA 634. Request for change in overpayment recovery rate. Do not guess. Choose the option that matches your situation. And if you are confused, call SSA directly or contact your local Social Security office. Use only official contact information from ssa.gov. Step 3. Keep proof of everything. This is very important. Keep a copy of the overpayment notice. Keep a copy of every form you submit. If you mail something, keep the mailing receipt. If you fax something, keep the confirmation page. If you upload documents online, save screenshots or confirmation numbers. If you speak with SSA, write down the date, the time, the phone number you called, and the name of the person you spoke with if they provide it. This is not about being difficult. This is about protecting yourself. Because if your check is reduced by mistake, your paper trail can help you prove what you submitted and when you submitted it. And here is the hidden mistake I promised at the beginning. The hidden mistake is filing the wrong request. Some seniors file a waiver when they really need an appeal. Others file an appeal when they really need a waiver. And some do nothing because they think calling once is enough. Calling may help you understand the issue, but if SSA requires a form, you need the form. A phone call alone may not protect you. So remember this. Appeal means SSA is wrong. Waiver means I should not have to repay. Lower rate means I can repay, but not at that amount. That simple difference can protect your monthly income. If you are watching this and you have received an overpayment letter, please do not panic. But also, do not ignore it. Open the letter. Mark the date. Decide whether you need an appeal, a waiver, or a lower repayment rate. And keep proof of everything. Your Social Security check may be your financial lifeline. It pays for housing, food, medicine, transportation, the basics of life, and one confusing letter should not destroy your peace of mind, but you must act before withholding starts. Now, one more important thing. Please do not rely only on YouTube notifications for updates like this. YouTube may not show you every important alert, and policy changes can affect Social Security, pensions, bank rules, insurance claims, Medicare costs, and even travel rules for seniors. So click the link in the description and join the Global Senior Alerts Official WhatsApp channel. Inside that channel, you can download the free Senior Benefits Protection Guide. You will also receive real-time alerts about Social Security, pensions, banking rules, insurance policies, and travel regulations that may affect retirees and seniors. Again, the link is in the description. Join the Global Senior Alerts Official WhatsApp channel today. And before you leave, share this video with someone who depends on Social Security, a friend, a spouse, a neighbor, a church member, a family member, because many seniors do not know that an overpayment letter can lead to a 50% withholding risk if they do not respond correctly. This is Jocelyn. Stay calm, stay informed, and protect your benefits before a confusing letter becomes a financial crisis.